Some reactions change little by little when we practice them, but some reactions do not change easily, even when we understand them in our minds. Why do I often lean towards shrinking back? Why do I keep becoming defensive or aggressive in relationships? Why do I keep feeling small while the other person feels large? There are times when we find ourselves standing in front of questions like these. In transactional analysis, this deeper basis is called life position. Simply put, life position is the basic attitude behind how I see myself and how I see others. In Torbit TA, we look at this in two layers. One is the basic life position that tends to stay with us over time. The other is the situational OK stance that A brings forward in a specific situation. Of course, a foundation closer to I'm okay. Your okay is usually more stable. But real life is not that simple. Different situations may call for different stances. What matters is not staying in I'm okay. You're okay at every moment. What matters is noticing how I see myself here, how I see the other person here, and what kind of distance and attitude I need to choose. Sometimes we need to trust and cooperate. Sometimes we need to question what is being said and protect ourselves. Sometimes we need to admit what we do not yet know and learn. And sometimes we need to accept that I cannot fully trust myself, the other person, or the current method. So we need to stop and look again. So the situational OK stance is not a fixed type. It is a frame that A uses to read the situation and choose a relationship stance. If personality is what appears on the surface, the situational OK stance shows what kind of relationship stage that personality is standing on now. The same behavior can mean very different things depending on the stance it comes from. In transactional analysis, life position is usually described through 4 positions. I'm okay, you're okay. I'm okay, you're not okay. I'm not okay, you're okay. I'm not okay, you're not okay. In Torbit TA, we can look at these 4 positions in 2 layers. One layer is the basic life position. This shows the foundation from which I usually see myself and others. The other layer is the situational OK stance. This shows how A reads the present relationship scene and chooses distance, boundary, learning, or cooperation. So these 4 positions are not just abstract theory. They help us ask 2 simple questions. What kind of foundation do I usually stand on? And in this situation, which direction am I leaning toward now? Do I feel that I am basically okay? Or do I keep feeling lacking, wrong, or too small? Do I basically respect others? Or do I easily distrust them, judge them, and stay on guard? These 2 axes meet and form the place of life position. Here is the important point. I'm not okay in the situational. Okay stance does not mean I have no value. It is closer to saying, in this situation, my judgment, ability, or information may not be enough. In the same way, you're not okay does not mean the other person is wrong as a person. It is closer to saying, right now this person's words, behavior, intention, or method is difficult to accept as it is. So the situational OK stance is not a tool for judging someone's worth. It is a frame that A uses to notice what kind of distance, boundary, learning, and cooperation are needed right now. In Torbit TA, life position and the situational OK stance become easier to understand when we connect them with the flow of the 6 ego states. First, our attitude toward ourselves can be hinted at through the relative flow of FC and AC. When FC flows more naturally, emotions and desires are more likely to move outward. When AC stands more strongly in front, caution, awareness of others, and self-restraint may come before self-expression. Next, our attitude toward others can be hinted at through the relative flow of NP and CP. When NP flows more naturally, acceptance and care for the other person may appear more easily. When CP stands more strongly in front, correcting the other person or fitting them to a standard may come first. For an introductory reading, we can mark it this way. FC, greater than or equal to AC, implies a clue toward an I'm okay. FC, less than AC, implies a clue toward I'm not okay. And P greater than or equal to CP implies a clue toward you're okay. And P less than CP implies a clue toward you're not okay. But this is not a formula for judging a person. It is only a first reference point for reading the current flow. In real relationships, A and SC also move together. SC is the special child in Torbit TA, the self that wants to stand as itself. It is not simply a new name for rebellion. It includes the energy of resistance and part of the intuitive original power, often described as the little professor. That is why SC matters in the situational OK stance. SC does not only adapt or rebel, it asks, how can I stand as myself in this situation? So FC-AC and NP-CP are useful when we first set the direction. But in an actual relationship, it is more natural to see A, reading the situation, SC, searching for a way to stand as itself in all 6 ego states, moving together. I'm okay, you're okay. I plus, you plus. This is the place where I am okay and you are okay. In this stance, I trust my own value, and I also respect the existence of the other person. When a problem appears, this stance makes it easier to move towards solving the problem instead of breaking down the person. The relationship temperature can stay relatively healthy here. A person standing in this place may carry both senses at the same time. I am precious, and you are precious too. But this stance is not always the only correct answer. If someone clearly intends to cause harm, and I hold only to you are also okay, I may fail to protect myself. So this is a warm place, but it is not a place where boundaries disappear. I'm okay, you're not okay. I plus, you minus. This is the place where I am okay, and your way is difficult to accept right now. If I stay in this place for too long, control, blame, and teaching can become stronger. Even if someone looks sociable on the outside, they may still ignore the pain of the family and push forward by saying, you are just being sensitive. That can be close to this stance. But this position is not always bad. There are times when I need to stop an unfair demand. There are times when I need to make my boundary clear. There are times when refusal and defense are needed because someone is treating me carelessly. In the situational OK stance, this place does not deny the other person's existence. It sets a boundary toward the other person's behavior, words, intention, or method right now. I'm not okay, you're okay, I minus you plus. This is the place where I may be lacking in this situation and can learn from you. In this stance, the other person may feel more right, more capable, or more important. So I may yield easily, find it hard to refuse, and pay more attention to other people's reactions than to my own mind. If I stay here for too long, I may become suppressed. I may only endure. I may become vulnerable to pressure or manipulation. And because I keep looking at the other person first, I may lose my own voice. But this stance is not useless. When I enter a new environment and need to learn, or when I need to receive help with humility, this stance can be useful. I'm not okay here is not self-devaluation. It is closer to a realistic recognition. I do not know this part well yet. Right now I need to learn. I can receive help from the other person. I'm not okay, you're not okay. I minus, you minus. This is the place where it is difficult to trust myself, the other person, or the existing method. It can feel like the heaviest place. I cannot easily trust myself. I cannot easily trust the other person. So this stance may appear as helplessness, cutting off the relationship, or suddenly exploding in the opposite direction. And if I stay here for a long time, it becomes difficult. Hope can shrink. Connection can break. But this stance is not completely useless in real life. When the other person's intention feels deeply unsafe, when my own judgment is also hard to trust, and when the other person's words cannot be accepted easily, this stance can become the last defense line that prevents the worst choice. At that moment, I'm not okay. You're not okay does not only mean I am ruined and you are ruined. In the situational OK stance, it can become a reset mode. Right now, I cannot trust myself, you, or the existing method as they are. So let's stop and look again from the beginning. What matters in the 4 OK stances is not deciding that one is always good and the others are always bad. The problem is not the stance itself. The problem is when one stance becomes fixed like an automatic reaction. I'm okay. You're okay can fail to protect me if it has no boundaries. I'm okay. You're not okay can turn into control and blame if it becomes fixed. I'm not okay. You're okay can make me lose my voice if I stay there too long. I'm not okay. You're not okay can reduce hope and connection if it becomes my usual place. So the key is not the name of the stance. The key is noticing which stance is needed in this situation now and whether I am being pulled into one place automatically. When A is alive, I can choose again. I can look at distance, boundary, learning, and cooperation in this relationship scene. In existing transactional analysis, 3 OK is often mentioned. It means I am okay, you are okay, and other people are also okay. This view is an important starting point. It helps us avoid careless labeling and look at relationships in a healthier way. But all okay in Torbit TA does not mean seeing every person as good all the time. It does not mean softly accepting every situation. If we cover up unfairness, let one side keep pulling the relationship and let the other side keep taking the loss. Calling that situation okay may damage the whole relationship even more. At times like that, we need to say, not okay. This way is difficult to accept. A boundary is needed here. Now we need to stop and look again. That may look firm on the surface, but if that firmness reduces harm to me, to the other person, and to the whole relationship, it can still belong within the flow of all okay. So, all okay is not the attitude of insisting on I'm okay, you're okay at every moment. It is a Torbit style tuning principle that protects a healthier okay over time by saying not okay when it is needed. The situational OK stance is close to the relationship attitude that A chooses in the present scene, but the human mind does not only have stances that change from situation to situation. Below that, there is a deeper foundation that tends to stay with us over time. In existing transactional analysis, this foundation is described through 2 axes, self-OK and other-OK. When these 2 axes meet, they form the basic places of the 4 life positions. I am okay, you're okay, I am okay, you're not okay, I'm not okay, you're okay, I'm not okay, you're not okay. If the situational okay stance is the relationship attitude that A chooses in this present scene, self-okay and other-okay are the deeper foundation from which I usually see myself and others. If life position is the stage, self-okay and other-okay are the pillars that support that stage. Self-okay does not simply mean feeling good about myself. It is not pride or superiority. It is not only satisfaction with achievement or appearance. Self-okay is a basic acceptance that does not push my emotions away as automatically wrong when they arise. It is the foundation that does not carelessly abandon my own existence even when I make a mistake or feel shaken. In other words, it is the power to feel. Even if I am having a hard time now, I'm still not a being who should disappear. Other okay works in a similar way. It is not the innocence of believing that everyone is good. It is not the belief that everyone is trustworthy. Other okay is the power to see others not only as objects of control or blame, but as different beings while still leaving open the possibility of connection. In other words, even after being hurt, it is the power to feel. Still, the path to connection with people has not completely disappeared. When these 2 pillars shake, the stage also tilts. If self-okay is too low, I keep shrinking back. If other okay is too low, I easily attack or disconnect. In the end, the life position where we often stand changes according to the height of these pillars. We often try to change only the behavior that appears on the surface. I should get angry less. I should not only endure. I should speak more kindly. I should speak with courage. We make decisions like these. And of course, that kind of effort is also needed. But if the deeper stage remains the same, changing only the outward appearance is difficult to sustain. If the foundation inside keeps saying, I am wrong, that person is dangerous, I am always lacking, or other people cannot be trusted, then even if I look different for a short time, I may easily return to the same place. So looking at life position is not only looking at behavior, it is looking at the stage on which that behavior keeps repeating. In the end, what matters is moving to a wider and less fearful stage. The core of Torbit TA is not removing a specific OK stance. All 4 OK stances have times when they are used in life. What matters is not living trapped in only one stance. We need to be able to move to a wider place when the moment calls for it. If I keep shrinking back, I need to grow self-OK little by little. If I always distrust and attack the other person, I need to recover other OK little by little. If I always look at others first, I need to rebuild the sense that I am also OK. If I always think only I am right, I need to learn the sense that the other person also has their own circumstances. And above all, A needs to be alive. When A is alive, I am not automatically pulled into one of the 4 stances. I can choose the attitude that is needed in this situation now. When I need to learn, I can lower myself. When I need to protect, I can stand firm. When it is difficult to trust, I can stop. When we can be together, I can reconnect. So if tuning personality is a technique, recovering self-OK and other OK little by little is the work of strengthening the floor that technique can stand on. In the end, knowing life position is not gaining another standard for judging myself. It is noticing what kind of stage I am living on now and where the pillars supporting that stage are tilting. And that noticing becomes the first step toward moving, little by little, to a wider and less fearful place.